As your baby gets older, you will find yourself wondering when will it be time to drop a nap. In this video today, we will talk all about dropping naps. We will cover the signs that baby's nap can go. We will talk about some very important things to know when you're dropping a nap. We will go over the order that naps are dropped, and we will go over each of those naps and give some details and overview on what it will be like to drop, the age you will drop it, signs baby is ready, and how to do so. Hello there, my name is Valerie. I blog at babywisemom.com. I have been blogging there since 2007. I love helping mothers love motherhood. I am a mom to 4 children ranging in ages from 8 to 16 years old. And before we go any further, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about, before we go beyond this point, what a nap is. I am defining a nap as sleep that happens before 7 p.m. If you have your baby sleeping between 7 and 10 p.m. and in your mind it's a nap, I'm not calling that a nap, and the reason is that naps get dropped and sleep between 7 and 10 p.m. does not get dropped. So you might think of it as a nap in your mind, especially if you're doing a dream feed around between 10 and 11 p.m. But for me, anything after 7 p.m. is bedtime. Let's talk about signs that the nap can go. These are general signs that can apply to any and all of the naps that your baby has, and in a little bit we'll talk about the order naps are dropped. Your first sign is that your kiddo will not sleep for the nap in question. So if you're wondering, should I drop this nap? One big sign is your little one isn't sleeping during that nap anymore. Another big sign is that your little one is not falling asleep at bedtime. Your little one's taking a long time to fall asleep. Another sign is you might find the nap in question gets really short. So it can go down to 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and that's a good sign that that nap isn't really needed. Another sign is that your little one will not sleep for a different nap in the day. So perhaps the nap in question is going well, but a different nap in the day is not going well. Another sign is that night sleep gets disrupted. So your little one was sleeping well for night and then starts waking up in the night, or in conjunction with the bedtime, hard time falling asleep, and then sleep's just disrupted at the nighttime. Another sign is extending your schedule. So moving from a 3-hour schedule to a 4-hour schedule will naturally drop that nap. One important note is that just because your little one's having some sleep disruption doesn't mean a nap needs to be dropped. That is a possibility, but there are a lot of reasons that naps or bedtime or night sleep get disrupted. So be sure to see my videos or blog posts on troubleshooting nap time and troubleshooting night sleep. Let's talk about some important things to know when you are dropping a nap. One thing to be aware of is that your kiddo will probably be quite cranky for a day or two at least when you drop a nap. You might even find your little one is cranky for a few days. And it can be just when that nap time was and your little one's awake instead of sleeping, or it can be throughout the day. This crankiness does not mean dropping the nap was the wrong call. It can still be the right thing to drop the nap. It just takes time for your little one to get accustomed to this new schedule. Another important thing to know is you might need to adjust your little one's bedtime for 1 to 2 weeks after dropping this nap. So you may drop a nap and then find you need to move bedtime up by 30 to 60 minutes earlier than it was before the nap was dropped. As your little one gets accustomed to this nap being gone, you can start moving bedtime back to where it was typically. Another thing to be aware of is it's really good to think of dropping naps as more of rearranging sleep than dropping sleep, especially for the naps when your baby is a baby and a young toddler. When your little one, your kiddo, gets to be dropping that last nap of the day, it's more of just dropping sleep. But for those first few naps, it is rearranging sleep. So other naps get longer and or bedtime gets earlier. Also, don't be scared to try to drop the nap. If you think your child's ready but you're not quite positive, it's okay to give it a try. And if you realize this was a big mistake, you can always add the nap back in. Let's discuss the order that naps are typically dropped in. So we're typically going to say a baby has 4 naps a day. If you're on a 3-hour schedule and you start at 7 a.m., then you're feeding at 7, 10, 1, 4, and 7. So between those, you have 4 naps in the day. And remember, after that 7 p.m. feeding, any sleep that happens is now bedtime. So you have 4 naps a day. The first nap your baby will drop is the 4th nap. The second nap your baby will drop is the 3rd nap. The 3rd nap your baby will drop is the first nap or morning nap. And the final nap that your child will drop is the 1 nap of the day or the afternoon nap. Let's talk in more detail about dropping each of these naps. And let's start with the first nap that is dropped, which is the 4th nap. The 4th nap is typically dropped right around 4 months old. It can be as early as 3 months old and as late as 5 months old, but the vast majority of babies drop this nap at 4 months old, and it's the only nap that is super consistent across all babies. Some common signs that your baby is ready to drop this nap include: 1, your baby is old enough, so your baby is in the 3 to 5 month old range. Another is your baby will not sleep for this nap, and that's why I want you to pay attention that the first one is your baby is old enough. A 4-week-old who will not sleep for this 4th nap of the day isn't ready to drop it. That's probably witching hour. So we're talking about a 3 to 5 month old who will not sleep for this 4th nap may be ready to drop it. Your baby might sleep really well for this nap, but then not sleep well for bedtime. So another sign that's possible is that bedtime sleep is not going well. Another sign is that your baby is on a 4-hour schedule. So once you move to a 4-hour schedule, you're feeding at 7, 11, 3, and 7. And because of that change, you're dropped down to 3 naps automatically. If you're curious if your little one is ready for a 4-hour schedule, be sure to see my blog post or my video on the topic. Some common methods for dropping this 4th nap include: 1, moving to the 4-hour schedule; 2, skipping that nap and keeping baby up. So your baby can drop the 4th nap even if you're still on a 3-hour schedule, and you just skip the nap, that 4th nap, and have wake time. So you eat, wake, eat, bedtime. A third method is to shorten the length of that nap over time and kind of wean off of it. The next nap that is dropped is the 3rd nap. The 3rd nap is typically dropped between 6 and 10 months old, with the average being 8 months old. Some signs that your baby is ready to drop this nap include: 1, that your baby isn't tired at bedtime. Another is that your baby is not napping well for the 3rd nap. And another is that night sleep starts to get disrupted. So if night sleep was great and starts to get disrupted, start to consider maybe it's time to drop that 3rd nap. Some good methods for dropping the 3rd nap include: 1, going cold turkey. This means you just stop doing the nap altogether. Another method is to wean. So some days you have that nap and some days you do not. And that's a really gentle method and it takes a little longer, but it can be good if your child is mostly ready to drop the nap but not quite. So it's perfectly normal for a baby to be ready to drop the nap but still need that nap every once in a while. So maybe every other day the baby has that 3rd nap, and then over time it's every 3 days baby has that 3rd nap, and you over time remove that nap from the schedule. Another thing to consider is you can skip that nap, drop it cold turkey, and move bedtime up earlier if your baby can't quite make it all the way to bedtime. A really good tip when dropping this 3rd nap is to leave the house during that 3rd nap as your baby gets accustomed and adjusts to staying awake during that time. It's very common for babies to be quite fussy during the 3rd nap while you're dropping it. So I just remember with my oldest child, just having to bounce him around and play with him constantly during that 3rd nap while he was getting used to it. So keep that in mind and make that part of your expectations as you drop this nap. Your evening time when you used to have open and free because baby was sleeping is going to be very disrupted and full of entertaining your baby or trying to keep your baby happy while he gets used to not sleeping at this time. The next nap dropped is your morning nap. So you are down to 2 naps a day, so a morning and an afternoon nap, and next you are going to drop the morning nap. This typically happens between 14 and 22 months old. If you have a 10-month-old, 12-month-old that you think is ready to drop the morning nap, don't go there yet. You're at a transition time. You want to wait until 14 months old. Maybe the occasional baby can drop at 13 months, but for the vast majority, youngest is 14 months old. All the way up to 22 months old, average is typically 18 months old. When one of those two things starts to happen, then you know we're at time to drop this morning nap. When you start to drop it, you can either do a weaning over time, just like we talked about with that third nap where you have it some days and don't, or you can go cold turkey. Typically, when you go to one nap a day, your child is able to make it from the waking up in the morning and go all the way until after lunch to take this nap. When you first move to the just one nap a day, you might find you need to have lunch a little early and move the one nap earlier than you would. So for starting at 7 a.m. schedule, typically you will land your one nap a day at 1 p.m. But at first you may find you need to have an early lunch and have the nap start at noon or 12:30. And again, you might need an early bedtime while your little toddler adjusts to this dropped nap. The final nap you will drop is that one and only nap of the day, your afternoon nap. This typically happens around 4 years old, but it's a very long weaning process that actually starts with around a 2-year-old. The signs that your little preschooler is ready to not nap at all each day is that the naps aren't happening. The method for dropping this nap is a weaning process, and it takes years. It starts with a toddler who will not sleep for nap every day. And then over time, it goes from your toddler skips one nap a week to starts to skip 2 naps a week. And then your preschooler starts to skip 3 or 4 naps a week. All the while, I highly recommend that you keep the nap and call it a nap until you're sure that your little one is ready to not nap every day. And then you call it rest time, and your little one goes to bed and rests, but does not sleep. That wraps up our overview on dropping naps. Of course, I have so many blog posts about dropping naps. I have blog posts that cover each of these naps, including the final nap and introducing rest time into your preschooler's day. So if you have more questions on any of these naps, make sure you check those out, or you can drop a question in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.